What's up? Just Aaron right here, Question Period Canada. I think Jagmeet has finally woken up. Pierre Poilievre has shaken him awake. It's time to pull the plug on this Liberal NDP coalition if they stand any chance in the next election at getting any seats at all. Because I think, do you not think that Canadians are done with this NDP Liberal coalition? Like, we kind of blame the NDP for the Liberal government? I do. Let's take a look. I think Jagmeet maybe has woken up. Poilievre has shaken him awake.
Leader's question. The question was, how can the Prime Minister waste millions of dollars on a Arrive scam when Canadians can't afford to eat, heat, or house themselves? The answer is because the NDP keeps that Prime Minister in power. That's right.
We know that the Liberals promised to do so in 1997. It's been 30 years, 3 decades of broken promises.
But let's talk about the garbage decisions of this Liberal government. The Auditor General found that the Liberals wasted $60 million on an app, the ArriveCan app, that no one uses and doesn't work, all at a time when Canadians are struggling with their groceries and their rent. Why are the Liberals so obsessed with making rich consultants richer and so out of touch with where Canadians are at?
Because the NDP keeps that Prime Minister in power. That's right.
And most recently, Justin Trudeau himself ran on a platform to bring in national universal pharmacare and has broken that promise. That broken promise means that seniors who need their medication to stay healthy are not taking it, and they get more and more sick.
Because the NDP keeps that Prime Minister in power. That's right.
Lately, Jagmeet has been talking a big game, like the NDP is going to revolt against this Liberal NDP coalition. He's actually talking game here now. Like, this is caught on camera. Right here. Check it out.
So we've put it really clearly that if the Liberals break the agreement will be broken. That means we'll go to a vote-to-vote situation. They can no longer count on any of our votes. None of the supports that were there in the agreement will continue. They will have broken their promise, and we will walk away then.
Here's a long list of NDP MPs that sound really pissed off with the coalition government and with Jagmeet's leadership. I don't think they want on board anymore. Maybe Poilievre is waking Jagmeet up. Nous sommes censés faire 3 fêtes.
Unbelievably, the Liberal government has authorized $28.5 million of new military exports to Israel since October. Today, a Dutch court ruled the Netherlands must stop spending F-35s to Israel. Spain and Belgium have suspended arms sales, but Canada continues to send arms, doing nothing to ensure that they are not being used against civilians. So many children are being killed as Netanyahu bombs Rafah, the place where Palestinians were told they'd be safe. How can the minister continue to sell arms to Israel?
A 12-year-old boy in BC died by suicide after experiencing online sextortion. Sadly, this is becoming more and more common, and this government has done nothing. Liberals promised to protect our kids from online harm within 100 days of the last election. Well, they do nothing. Kids' lives are at risk. When will the Liberals start protecting children by acting on online harms?
Liberals show time and again that they don't have the backs of brewery workers. Liberals are set to drastically increase the tax on beer in April. This will hurt breweries, small businesses, restaurants, and their unionized workers risk losing their jobs. Workers deserve better. Will the minister listen and reverse her decision to increase costs on those who are already struggling to keep their doors open?
The Liberal-appointed housing advocate gave this government a failing grade today. She says homelessness encampments are a manifestation of how broken our housing and homeless system is. She describes it as life or death crisis. While this Prime Minister says he could have and should have done more to build housing, it shows how out of touch he is. So will the Prime Minister take this crisis seriously, follow the recommendations, and ensure people have a safe place to call home?
$250 million? WTF. Here, here. Because the NDP keeps that prime minister in power. That's
are worried about the climate crisis, and we know that coal is the dirtiest source of electricity, producing more emissions than any other fossil fuel. The Liberals promised to ban thermal coal exports, but under the Liberals, exports have more than tripled. More broken promises. They have no plan to phase it out, no plan to support workers. As Canadians across the country are facing extreme weather, will the Prime Minister end thermal coal exports?
When the Minister of Environment said the government will stop investing in new road infrastructure, he made it very clear that he never considered northern communities. Many Indigenous communities still lack all weather roads. In fact, most of the communities in my riding are still using dust roads. For years, they have been calling on the government to invest in road infrastructure. I have a simple question. Why is the minister against Nunavut getting their roads paved?
Mr. Speaker.
because the NDP keeps that prime minister in power. That's
Canada confirms what Canadians already know. Rent prices are skyrocketing while real estate CEOs are making record profit. And which city had the rental prices go up the fastest? Well, my city of Edmonton. And that's because the Liberals are leaving it up to Danielle Smith and corporate developers who are failing to build the homes that people can actually afford. Mr. Speaker, when will this government act to lower rent so people in Edmonton have a place to call home?
2 weeks since I asked the health minister his plan to address the closure of Clinic 554, Fredericton's only healthcare provider offering safe abortions. This government has done nothing. While Conservatives push backdoor legislation violating the right to a safe abortion, the so-called feminist Liberals fail to address access. Why is this government denying access to safe, trauma-informed abortion care?
That's right. Just like the Prime Minister, not worth the cost and not worth the corruption.
On fixed incomes are struggling very much to afford groceries in a difficult time. The government says it's talking tough with big grocers like Loblaws, but what has that led to? Loblaws trying to cut a sweetheart deal with Manulife to screw seniors. Loblaws getting in the way of the grocery code of conduct. Loblaws getting rid of their discount on your expired foods only to replace it later after public outcry.
$250 million. WTF.
Here, here. 2 different contracts totaling $60 million to the same consultants, GC Strategies for the Useless ArriveCan app. Liberals simply can't help themselves from helping themselves, while Canadians can barely pay the bills. And at a time when we should be investing in the skills and knowledge of our public service, Liberals would rather hand over millions to private consultants. So why is this Liberal government giving money to their rich friends instead of investing in the valuable work of our federal public service?
Canadian is stuck in Gaza, and he is in poor health and he needs medical care. He went to Rafah and no Canadian ambassadors were there to help him leave. His son, my constituent, told me that his father has been used as a human shield by the Israeli military to force Gazans out of their homes. He is worried sick. This government has had 4 months to secure the safe passage of Canadians out of Gaza. Other countries have done it, so why can't this government ensure the safe return of Canadians and their families from Gaza?
Because the NDP keeps that prime minister in power. That's
in the House, and we've said that they cannot expect that to happen anymore. If they break the agreement, let's be really clear, it's the Liberals breaking the agreement. If they're breaking their promise, where the consequences of them breaking their promises, then the agreement is ended. So it would be the Liberals breaking the agreement. We want to use our power to help Canadians, and we've been very clear. That's been our goal from the beginning, and we continue to aspire to make sure we use our power in that way. They want to hurt families. They want to hurt people. And Liberals are out of touch and don't realize the real challenges that people are dealing with. So what we want to use our power for is to continue to fight to force this government to deliver, and they should take it very seriously when we say if they break their agreement, they will no longer be able to count on support, and they will no longer be able to count on any of our votes. Liberals, why would they jeopardize the important work by breaking a commitment? The Liberals would be breaking their promise. We gave them an extension, and we said very clearly, we're giving you the extension so that you can actually stop catering to the big pharma and bring in legislation that's good for people. If they don't do that, if they break their commitment again, and they break yet another promise, if Justin Trudeau breaks another promise, then we're not going to support that. It's pretty straightforward. If they break the agreement, then the agreement is broken. They should not be able to count on any additional support.
So gang, what's the deal? Is the NDP party dead? Is Jagmeet dead to you? What is the deal? We need to know. I kind of cheer for the NDP in my heart, like their philosophy. But man, oh man, I'm tired of this liberal NDP coalition government. It's gotta go. Jagmeet's gotta go, like something has to change. Like and subscribe. This is Question Period Canada. We have fun here all the time learning about Canadian politics, sharing it with you. At 2 p.m. EST, 3 p.m. AST, we always have a show every day. Like, we're live broadcasting like crazy. Canadian federal politics is our gig here. We're learning all about it, sharing it with you. Come check us out. Like, we have a lot of fun with this crazy material. It's a good time, and we are learning how to fix the problem. That's the goal. Like and subscribe. I'm Aaron. This is Question Period Canada. We'll check you next video. Remember to have something healthy to eat and try to stay warm tonight. It's cold in Canada, man. Whew!